right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and children of all ages, it is Tuesday afternoon. It is beautiful out. I am sitting here in Fairport next to the one, the only. You know him, you love him, you can't get enough of him. He is snickering his ass off all day long. The Poindexter of podcasts.
I think this is a cover.
The Admiral of the airwaves.
I think these guys would have done
I
this
want to use your initials BM, but we know what that stands for.
Big moles. He's got big moles all over his body. This is some shitty cover that I found. I apologize.
That's all right.
I was trying to make you happier. I
am happy.
No, because I made you uncomfortable.
No.
And I made you
gotta
sweat.
sit and grin it.
Well, I don't want you to sit and grin.
Well, it's not your fault.
Here's what I want.
You can't control people's feelings. So when they say, just relax, I don't feel that way.
I'm not trying to control anything. I'm just saying that I certainly, I think you should be proud that you did something.
Am.
And, I mean, even though it sucks, you...
You worked all day on this thing.
No,
you just
I
been
didn't
licking
work.
your
I
chops.
didn't fucking work all day. I had
like
people
a prime
in here. I
rib.
had shit
You ain't
going on
nobody in
today.
here when I walked in.
No, I didn't, but I had...
What, are you having a photo shoot here with all this shit?
I got lights up so that way we can have a
You're
nice...
like, man, Dougie made this movie. I got to make it more...
Well, that's exactly.
I got to put some production in my show.
Well,
now.
there's other projects that I'm working on. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Silhouette Night?
No, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I am...
Well, we all know that.
But I'm just doing it.
Okay, keep going.
And that's the way I've pretty much done anything. And the podcast...
Just should have my movie playing at all times on the DVD
We
player.
could do that.
We could do that.
We could certainly do that.
I'm sure we could get in a couple of the people that worked on it.
I would love to
Marcy
talk to them.
Savastano, who's still at Jiva and other places in Rochester.
Hey, when you had to say that line, did you cringe?
You get over it.
Did they had to memorize their lines, or did you have cue cards too?
We had cue cards one night. Somebody kept forgetting her, her line.
I mean, it's just...
So finally we just...
yeah.
Actually, I think Reza was telling the girl. She was just repeating it.
Okay.
So we had an angle where it was just her in the room, in the dressing room.
Yeah.
So, but there was no big speed bumps, no...
I have to say, like, as much as I pick on you about it, it is, you will get invested.
That's all right.
And you can get it.
On.
And you can get it at Amazon.
I don't think so. I think I have to update my seller account. Actually, I was just looking. It has images.
Well, update your seller account.
I will.
Is it free to update your seller account?
I think so.
All right. Well, let's update the seller account, because I think you sell a couple of those. I think people would enjoy it. It is a story you'll get invested in. It shows you Doug, a younger Doug.
20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. 20 years.
My goal was to get it done.
20 years and 60 pounds ago. Fucking with you. I don't know. Speaking of that, Doug, sad news.
Sad news.
Well, this is interesting news, I think, from an economic standpoint. Wendy's has announced that they are going to do something. They're saying in 2025. I don't know why you would announce it so far ahead, but it was at some like shareholders or board meeting that they had this, and then it hit mainstream news. But I think if they do this, they'll be the first, but not the last.
They're not going to have their big and juicy anymore. They're going to have their big and juicy that identifies as a hamburger.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
A decision leaving parents...
Oh, wrong one.
Yeah.
2 Dave singles.
How much would it cost? You could ask, but starting soon, depending on the time of day, you might get a different answer. Wendy's, the country's second largest burger chain with 6,000 locations, announcing that starting next year, menu prices will fluctuate during the busiest times of day, meaning you could be paying as much as $1 more for that Baconator during the lunch rush.
Historically, companies...
How wild is that?
How wild is that? No surprise. Do you want to know
dynamic pricing, but it's almost like they're calling it Uber pricing.
They are?
Yes, they're referring to it as Uber pricing. It's dynamic pricing, and it's not something new. Uber didn't invent this. Airlines have done it. Airline will price. You could get the same flight 1 week earlier, but if they know everybody's going on vacation, or the largest percentage of the percentage of the country, or this section of the country, and you're flying out of here, you're paying more. And it's just capitalism. But the part that would really bother me is, let's say every day now Wendy's changes their pricing by 50 cents per item
At 3 o'clock.
at 11:30, just before lunch. You get there at 11:25. There's a line. Now, I have a McDonald's by me. This McDonald's is so busy. They
How
have
busy is it?
two
Yes.
drive-up
Most do.
lanes. I know nothing about this. And but if you're in line and the price changes,
You're screwed.
I'm fucking pissed for you.
The argument's going to come.
Yes, and it could happen.
Same way as when you're there and you want an Egg McMuffin. Because they only serve breakfast till 10:30 now. Maybe 11 on Sundays.
Yes.
You could get it all day long before the pandemic.
Ah.
So, and if you're working nights, you might not start your day till 10 or 11.
Right.
And you want to have breakfast at noon. I want a McMuffin. Well, you're screwed.
But I wonder if this will. I don't know if it's going to hurt them. I have no idea. I don't know that it will.
I don't think so. I don't think people.
I think people aren't going to.
Because the McDonald's and everybody else
are going to start jumping on this. If you look, Wendy's is going to be the canary in the coal mine, so to speak, to see how people respond to this. What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at?
How many people do you think know about the canary in the coal
I
mine?
think if they don't, they need to learn.
They'd have.
Yeah, we used to fly.
They're going
it.
to be the frontier, the first
Hang on,
person in.
Hang on. We used to fly the canary into the coal mine
You were
to
never
make
in a
sure
coal
that
mine.
there was an oxygen. No,
You
in a
didn't
past
fly. We
life.
took
In a
him in a
past
bird
life,
cage.
buddy. They took him in a bird cage?
Yeah, because if you let the canary go, he'd go get fresh air.
Yeah.
So you had to take him down, and when he couldn't chirp, you knew that the workers couldn't go down.
Oh, I thought that they put him in there and they saw if he could fly. If he made it out, he was alive. Well, I know. Even I
Great
didn't know
research,
the
Bill.
Yeah.
Make fun of my movie some more.
I will. Where would you like me to begin? Martin scored.
It's easy.
No, Martin scoreless.
Yeah.
Ay. But I do think this is going to become a regular thing. But I thought, wow, I don't eat a lot of fast food, but I will say that I do like Wendy's French fries. I'm a big fan. And they do sometimes. I think they use potato rolls over there, so I kind of prefer fast food. Like I'm a bit. I like the 2 cheeseburger meal at McDonald's, and then Wendy's. I don't have a Burger King that close to me, so I haven't gone for the flame broiled. Although I used to prefer that over everything, just in terms of convenience. That's what's there. It'll be interesting to see what this does. But it brings up the whole thing of what can you afford and not afford.
Oh God.
You know
Just
what I mean?
For fast food.
Well,
I mean, the dollar store sells pretty much everything you need.
Everything you need
to live.
Yep.
There should be no starvation.
But there
really shouldn't be.
5 things the middle class won't be able to afford in the next 5 years. So
Middle class.
That's what they're saying
5
in the
things.
next 5 years. Yep.
A new car.
Yeah.
Okay, you'll have to buy.
Prices have gone up significantly in the past 5 years, and it looks like that trend will probably continue on new cars. New cars.
So you're going to be buying a used car. I couldn't afford a new car.
There are people in the financial world who will tell you that a car is like the worst thing. You just need it to get you from A to B. We, at least in our generation, and it's interesting because I'm trying to I like to pay attention to. People call them trends. I say patterns. People get upset with me when I say patterns. But I believe that you watch the patterns. Watch the patterns in the advertising. We do a lot of feelings nowadays. We're not selling you the attributes of the car. We're selling you the feeling.
That we're happy. That we're part of your society.
Yeah, but
we care.
We're selling you.
Our electric car cares
Yes,
about
right.
everybody that cares about the environment.
Or Subaru did the whole thing on feeling, right? Or the father that takes his kid to the mountain who's deaf, and he's up in the mountains, and the kid is feeling the vibration of the
Dad, watch out for the cliff.
the running stream, and, right?
So you get in the car keys in his the kid had to walk down. That fucking sucked for that deaf guy. I know you done.
So terrible. Well, I'm just saying.
Better than my movie.
We do. It is actually. That's funny. Kid could act.
Yeah.
I'm teasing.
I know.
Well,
I
you
know.
get upset. But
I'm
new
not-
car prices.
Okay, so that's 1 of 5.
That's number 2.
okay.
Yeah.
So
Go
I
ahead.
guess the things that you can't afford is going to be housing. That's gotta be on
Homes are number 5.
Okay, so that's
Especially in cities and other high demand areas. It's just harder to afford a home now than ever before.
yes. 2 out of 5. Renting is outrageous. I know. I have a buddy that's unfortunately getting a divorce,
Yeah.
and a nice place is $1,900 a month, $2,000.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
Nuts to me. Hold on, let me think. I want to guess these.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll try to speed round. Vacationing.
Number one, extended family vacations,
Yeah.
especially trips overseas. But even just taking a week off to go to the beach is hard for a lot of people now. And
You're going to find other things. I didn't mean to interrupt. You're going to find other alternatives like Airbnb, Ubering. I have not a lot of people, but let's say maybe 5 people that have told me they've given up their cars. They figured out the mileage to work,
yep,
gas, insurance, cost of car,
Yep.
and then they can. It's cheaper to Uber every day.
really,
Yes,
wow,
and that includes grocery shopping.
yeah,
And going where they need to go.
interesting.
Yeah, and that might happen. Airbnbs are cheaper than hotels. You really just need a place to stay because you're, say we went to a Mets game in New York. We're just going to go down for whatever reason,
Right.
go see your favorite team and go to a hotel, or you get an Airbnb. Or if you go to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland,
Yeah.
you're not going to be the
Well, the
you're not gonna be
Airbnb, I mean, they're big, so they're pretty smart in their marketing now because they say when you have a hotel room, your bedtime is your kid's bedtime. But if you have an Airbnb, your bedtime is your bedtime. In other words, if you have a hotel room, everybody's in one room, right? The kid's going to sleep, so everybody lights out. Let's just shut it down. But there, I can put the kid in a room. They're quiet. They restful sleep. I can go have a cocktail, watch One Night at the Cat or something like that.
It's on TBS next week, right after Smokey and the Bandit.
I think there are 2 more on here.
Okay, hold on. I said
One you may get. One I don't think you'll get.
Housing, vacations,
New cars.
What else is going to be tough for people to do? Funeral costs?
Funeral costs, maybe. No, it's enjoying retirement.
What's
That's
that?
number 4. People who retire in the next 5 years might need to really rein things in to make sure they don't blow through their savings, especially because we're living longer than we used to.
Yeah.
Look at the people who are living longer, but are living longer. I think everybody at some point should volunteer at a home. For 2 reasons. I think there are wonderful stories in there. I think everybody who's lived could have some really outrageous things. Maybe they're making some of it up. Maybe they're embellishing. Maybe they're remembering. But interesting people are in those homes. And the other reason is to go, how do I prevent from getting here? Do you know what I mean? How do I be Clint Eastwood, who's still working at 92 years old? How do I be Norman Lear, who worked up to his death at 100 or 101 or whatever he was? That I think that's the goal in terms of retirement. I think a lot of times that how many guys have stared retirement and then died shortly after?
Well, their bodies are so used to working,
Yes,
working,
that's what
working,
I'm
and then
saying.
you hit a brick wall, you're done.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine recently retired from the union, electricians union, and all of a sudden he started having all these problems, health problems. And
Right.
he said, "I think you should get a part-time job. You're just used to getting up at 6 o'clock and going,
Yeah,
going,
and
going,
go.
having your coffee,
Yeah.
and getting ready." So I think it became a.
And the other thing is you start to then think of every ache and ailment. Oh, my God, what's this? Wait, I got a twinge. Hang on, my nipple's vibrating. You know what I'm saying? Like, am I having a heart attack? And I think you start to think on that stuff a lot. What are you laughing at?
my nipples vibrating.
Well, I heard that was a symptom, Doug. I heard it was a symptom.
That's a pacemaker getting too close to the microwave. I've seen that in a few women I've dated. That's I know that one.
The other one that I don't think you would get is private schools. The tuition is far outpacing gains in income. I can tell you, and by private schools, I'm not even talking yet college. Let's go,
Right.
Private schools even in this town. I mean, I think the one I sent my kid to is, well, we had guys on here who went to Aquinas.
Yeah.
And they said that the tuition when they went, because one of the guys has kids now at Aquinas, which is a private co-ed institution, and they said the price is like you could have paid for 3 years when we went with what you're
I think
paying for
it's
1
over
year now.
10,000.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah. My friend's kid just graduated there 2-3 years ago.
And
So
then-
it's probably even up more.
Yeah.
The inflation is just going up and up, and college costs is just ridiculous.
And the
Of course, they have no problem paying the football coaches $5 million a year because
yeah, they bring in a lot of people, Doug. You got a lot of
where's
asses
all that
and-
money going?
all the research that's happening at these universities. What? I'm serious. How do you think, research, they test movies like yours? They showed.
Woo, that's a stretch.
No, I don't know where that money goes. I have no idea. I don't run the institutions. Most of those schools are somewhat more affordable. Like when you think of big college coaches, let's say Alabama
Duke.
for one. I think my sister went to the University of South Carolina. They admit everybody your freshman year because they figure you're going to wash out. And I think that the in-state tuition was like, now we're going back a number of years, granted, like to your point, but I think it was like paying for a community college to go because it's a state university and it's a big school. And at the time they had Lou Holtz as their head coach for the football team. So, but they made it a little more affordable, but they also knew that there were kids that just were going to wash out.
Right.
But they accepted that everybody got in.
That's not a bad idea. Let everybody in
I
and then
think that was
weed
the
them
rule.
out, so to speak.
Somebody's going to correct me and go, "You're way off, man."
Okay,
but
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was close because it was huge classes. It's places like, St. John Fisher. I don't know. McQuaid, when my kid went, I don't
When
know.
I went, you had 2 years to pick a major. You could just take all of your electives, but then in 2 years you had to pick your major and do your major studies.
Well,
for that.
I have a theory on college that people get very upset with me.
What's that?
I think that it was always and should remain. I hate that it's become a trade school. I hate that I go and I have to. It should be knowledge for the sake of knowledge, which is a real luxury. It's a real luxury. Nobody studies these things just to learn anymore. But I had somebody in here today who also went to where I went to college, and we were talking, and I said, they told me what they majored in, and I said, does that help you? And the guy goes, yeah. He goes, I guess, kind of, right? And I laughed, and I said, I get more from the history and philosophy classes I took than any communication course I ever took. And I love the communication courses, and I would love to. And I thought the department did very well. I thought some of the writing stuff was fantastic. I thought the learning to write for
Isn't it supposed
newspapers.
to give you a good round core of what your
It
life
should. It
result in?
should. But I think a lot of times now, because the cost is so fucking astronomical, it's outrageous that you wind up almost narrowing yourself and going, I got to get a job to pay all this back, and I got to get a job that's going to do this. Like my kid is cybersecurity, right? And he's debating, does he go for a master's? Does he go right into the workforce? Does he go for a master's and then go to be a lawyer? What does he want to do? And those are all decisions that,
Could move to Ukraine. They just got $95 billion, right?
Yeah, I actually have a gentleman from the Ukraine coming in. We're going to do a one-on-one Thursday morning. He made a documentary about the war over there. And
That's still going on, right?
It's bad. Yeah. Doug gets very upset because they have $93 billion.
$93 billion to take care of a lot of health care and student loans in America. I don't know.
Well, they made student loans go away.
Oh, yeah. So now we're just printing more
It's
money.
just it. Don't worry about it, Dougie.
Don't worry about it.
What?
I have to worry about it. Do you have to worry about it?
I don't
You have
worry
bills.
about anything.
I didn't get that letter in the mail
I
that
don't-
said we're taking care of your bills.
I don't sweat
So I'm
anything.
still working. And I enjoy working.
I do too.
Yeah.
And
You have to work?
You
should
do I
work.
have to work?
Well, shouldn't most everybody have to work?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I don't know. What are you saying? Are there people the people that aren't working? Look, you're always going to have people taking advantage of systems somewhere along the line, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Absolutely.
If somebody can find a way.
Yep.
I bet if we looked at certain things.
Well, I guess that's working to find a way to cut the system. And
But I mean, I don't know in terms of the war in Ukraine. Some will say it's necessary for because if we let Russia expand and take over, what happens next? We need to protect ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need to protect
If they
the world.
expanded, holy moly.
You know what's going to
They
go
got to
on.
cross that thing. What do they call it? The Atlantic Ocean? Yeah.
And what will happen? What happens to the rest of the European nation? Is it better for them to remain? What happens to NATO? I look. These are all things that I'm not on the front lines of this stuff. I don't know the intricate details
Nor
of
do
it,
I.
and I always think that there's probably more to things. It's very easy to say don't send any money, but I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know, and that's kind of where I go. If I don't, but that's on its purest form, democracy would be, if I feel like these are bad things, then I would vote people who would support my ideas. And you get to do that again in November.
Yes, we do.
And that's supposedly what this country is supposed to be like.
Yes.
We'll see if it all works out.
We'll see.
If it can all work out that way or not. I have no idea. There is a woman I just read about today, and I should have paid a little more attention. She left $1 billion to a medical school in the Bronx, which is in one of the poorest communities, and no student is going to have to pay tuition, I think, if they get accepted, for, I want to say, 20 years. Like,
wow,
$1 billion.
nice.
Right. Because sometimes we shouldn't make these things as cost prohibitive as we do.
Especially for the medical world. I think
100%.
More doctors.
But even all of it. And we do need more people in trays and all this and this other stuff. I watched the documentary over the weekend after I needed to cleanse my palate after watching
Night of the Cat.
Yeah, Night of the Cat.
Yeah. Did you watch the director's cut? Because that's even better.
Is there a director's cut?
Yes, Bill.
There is?
Yes.
On here?
Yes.
Oh, I'm going to go back and watch it. I didn't know that.
We talked about the whole movie. Me and Chris.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to go watch that.
Yeah. Tells a lot
Great. Even more time I'm never going to get back. No, but, well, hang on. I watched the college admission scandal where people were paying, like this one guy, I don't know how he figured it out, but he goes, look, there's a number of ways. Doug is B-plus student. Not really Dartmouth material, but he wants to get into Dartmouth. So Dad could make a $5 million donation and Doug gets accepted, or Doug gets in on his own merit, or we can go in the side door and we pay off a coach for $500,000 and
I'm on the wrestling team.
And all of a sudden Doug's on the wrestling team. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's sort of how they did it. And it was amazing to me because
was that with the actors out in California?
Yeah. There was two of them. Yeah.
Bill Macy and his wife.
Yep.
Oh, his wife.
His wife. I don't know that it was Bill Macy's kid. I don't know if it was their kid together. And then it was Lori Loughlin and Massimo, who is the designer for Target. And
did you see their cornhole is going to be a division?
Yeah. We played that whole audio. Only one school is doing it.
Sooner or later. I mean, because it's
if it goes on. I mean, well, these two kids.
Bowling has risen up.
Yeah.
Archery. You're going to find women wrestling in Division I colleges, all scholarship based.
Programs. But that stuff I don't have a problem with.
Yeah,
I don't have a. If somebody wants to be the cornhole, it's great. Go practice your cornhole. Go stick it in your cornhole. It's a tailgate party. It's funny to me, but these kids are supposedly great at it. There's two kids from Colorado. They're going to South Carolina somewhere. But what struck me with this is I didn't realize the prestige that goes with saying I went to USC or I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
To that level.
Not only that, all the connections you're going to make.
Yeah, but
you might be on level 3.
Yeah.
And then your buddy John Malcolm III is working for his father, and he's on level 10, and he goes, I'm going to bring my buddy Doug. Doug, why don't you take a corner seat? We'll find you something to do. We'll pay you $85,000 a year.
Right.
You make me laugh.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's a great point. But I didn't realize the effort to go, we got to get you in here. I went, it's a whole different world to me.
Thousands of
because my brother went to Cornell.
Applications. And I think I don't know. Do you have to pay now?
For applications?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I vaguely remember.
Yeah, you're paying.
Yeah.
But you're paying for everything. You're paying to take the LSATs and everything you're paying. But my brother went to Cornell, and he dated a girl who every kid in the family had to go to Cornell. Dad would fly in on his private plane and tutor if he didn't think you were pulling grades well enough. He would be there to tutor you. All the connections my brother just got out of that, like from that relationship, and Cornell, and to this day, networking he does through that
is all Cornell.
Yeah. And you know what? To be honest with you, even Fisher has that to a certain degree. If I was a more conscientious human being, I would know that. But
they call it angling, by the way, not Fishers. Angling.
Wow.
If anybody knew what angling was.
Right. Okay.
That's a 2-year college?
We'll take we'll
They got-
take a moment.
They got film and movie study there. Do you want me to sign that DVD
And
for you?
I do.
I'm not throwing it underneath. Hit me in the balls with it.
I'm not.
Okay.
It's right over here. I'm
Okay.
not going to weaponize anything and be mean to you. That's fine. We'll take
Cheer
a
up, Buttercup.
We'll take a moment.
I'll get you a Captain America shield next time.
Somebody got arrested for doing something that I don't know how these people know that this guy did it. How do they know that it was this guy?
This guy.
We will find out next. But first.
Oh.